After roaring higher last year, one of our favorite semiconductor stocks has spent the last 5 months stalled out. I'm talking about Marvell Tech, which makes chips for networking, communications, and storage. Think 5G, the cloud data center. We bought this thing for the charitable trust way back in August of 2019. We're now up 107%. But two things happened last fall that have put this stock into stasis. First, we've seen a rotation out of 2020's biggest winners, although most of the semiconductor plays have held up pretty well thanks to the chip shortage. And boy, the semiconductor equipment companies, Teradata, Lam, my God. Second, though, last October, Marvell announced a major acquisition, buying Inphi in a cash and stock deal. And big stock-for-stock transactions tend to wear on your share price. But last night, Marvell closed on that Inphi acquisition, which gets rid of the arb pressure. Now we can focus on the fundamentals again. So could this stock be ready to roll? Today's nearly 4% gain now. I'm telling you, that's a great start, right? Last night, we got a chance to speak with Matt Murphy, the president and CEO of Marvell Technology Group. Take a look. Matt, welcome back to the show.
Jim, how are you?
All right, so Matt, why don't you give us a description of what the new Marvell looks like? Because I think it's much more attractive than even the old Marvell.
It really is, Jim. I think the new Marvell is probably one of the most exciting semiconductor companies in the world. When you look at the biggest trends in the market for the next 5 to 10 years, I think the 5G build out is going to be huge. The move to cloud data centers is a trend that's irreversible and is going to continue. And finally, there's a whole new revolution going on in automotive. Marvell is involved in all three of those key secular growth drivers for the semiconductor industry. And we're a leader in each of those segments.
All right, so Matt, as soon as people hear automotive, up until about 6 months ago, that meant fantastic. Now people hear automotive and they say chip shortage. You do talk about supply constraints when you on the March 3rd conference call. What do we say about chip shortage, therefore don't own Marvell?
Right. Yeah, Jim, I think the whole industry is going through a pretty unprecedented supply and demand imbalance. I've been doing this for 27 years. I've been through every major cycle since 1994. This one is very significant in terms of its impact. We're managing it pretty well. If you look at calendar 20, we actually grew every quarter over quarter through the year. We did not have a dip due to COVID. We were able to supply all our customers. And if you look out even into our Q1, we guided the company to grow 15% year over year. So while the shortages have been persistent across the industry, we've been able to keep up and grow our company through this cycle. And we believe we're going to grow the company all through 2021 as well. But clearly, this is weighing on a number of end markets, not just automotive.
But Matt, it is true that a lot of your companies in your industry, basically the sales are lost. I look at your Mosaic, and I think that those sales are just delayed. They're not lost.
Correct. Yeah. If you look at our product mix, Jim, almost all of our business is proprietary sole source product. These are system on chip products. They're the heart and the engines of every major application that we're in. And so while there may be delays in ramping production, those sales for us are not lost because those parts are not replaceable. And in some cases, our customers can get supply from Marvell, but they can't get the supply from other vendors that might be having their own supply issues.
All right. Now, one time I was worried a bit about Marvell and China because of United States friction, but obviously the People's Republic said yes to the IPHI deal. And then more importantly, Samsung is probably, I think, the #1 client in the world right now. And that is your partner on advanced 5G networks. How is that partnership, which was announced March 25, going?
Yeah, well, let's start with the first one. We're thrilled to have gotten approval from China back in March, about a month ago. That was, certainly, I think ahead of a lot of people's expectations. The primary reason, if you're interested as to why, is it's a very clean deal. And there was overwhelming support from all of our customers globally, including in China, that really saw the combination of Marvell and Inphi is taking two very good companies, putting them together and making them even more viable and strong. And as a result, it was a very smooth process to get approval. And I'm thrilled, as you mentioned earlier, that we are able to close the transaction today. As it relates to Samsung, they've been a long-term partner of ours. We are a key supplier to them and partner for them in their 5G networks products. And we've only continued to grow that partnership. And as you mentioned, we recently announced that we were moving into the radio head, which is where there's additional content that Marvell is pursuing. And we actually announced that we did a system on chip product for them that reduced their power consumption by 70% versus the prior generation they were using. And that's huge when you think about the upcoming 5G build-outs that are going to be happening right here in North America.
Right, well, when I see the Marvell standalone, 9% compound annual growth, Marvell and Inphi combined, I got a 12%. Can't we come back and start the buyback again?
Yeah, I think certainly first things first. We see the growth rate of the combined company as being very, very strong. Actually, those numbers of 10 to 12%, that's what we think the market can grow that we're in. And based on the combined company portfolio, we think we can grow even faster than the market. Wow. So actually at our investor day, we articulated, and also as part of the Inphi combination, growth rates more in the 15% plus a year rate, which at our size is quite significant. And then to do the transaction, as you mentioned earlier, it's a combination of cash and stock. And so first things first is we're taking on some debt as part of the transaction, so we're going to pay that down, and then certainly be very, very mindful of the buybacks when it's appropriate.
Well, look, Matt, I think the combination is fantastic. I am hoping that your natural conservatism, because who knows what's going to happen with the supply chain, doesn't penalize you. A lot of these other guys made projections they can't meet, and you never did that. So I think our shareholders greatly appreciate your candor, doing the right thing, and congratulations on the close of the deal.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Really appreciate it.
Okay, that's Matt Murphy. He's president and CEO of Marvell Technology, MRVL. Guys, this one does have the best product portfolio, and it's got what I think is the most sticky collection of customers, which is what really matters. Stick with Cramer.